So I want to make this dress in this Nancy Drew fabric. The only problem is the sizing. I'm usually a dress size 20 and it goes up to 22. However, if you look at the measurements, the biggest size is 44 bust and a 37 waist. I've got a 40 waist and a 49 bust. Since there's about 2 inches difference per size, I know I need to add about 3 sizes. So I take out the pieces that I need. I see the differences between the sizes and I really just estimate at this point. I draw each pattern piece out with chalk, leaving extra around the edges as I'm making my sizes bigger. It's better to have too much than too little at this point. Get all my pieces cut out and then I do a baste stitch. I just choose the longest setting and I make sure that I'm doing a straight stitch. Then I go to the directions. Interfacing is first, but I don't want to do that right now, so I'm skipping it. The rest of the steps are important steps, but not for resizing right now. So I'm going to skip it, skip until I get to what I can do. This will actually help me determine sizing. This long stitch is called basting, and that's what I do. I just baste everything together so it's easier to seam rip apart when I get the proper size. The next step is gather, and you can use that same basting stitch. You just stitch it and then take one of the strings and pull it as you're pushing the fabric. It's kind of hard to show you on video, but hopefully it kind of helps. There's more steps I'm gonna skip, but I can, so the center backs together. A note on the patterns, it will show you what sides go together. You generally want to sew right sides together, and it shows the right side or the pretty side is this darker color. So when you open it up, the seams will be in the inside and the pretty side will be on the outside. We're gonna put the underarm of the bodice together. Oops, looks like I made a bit of a sizing mistake. That is totally okay. I can fix it later. I'm going to make an executive decision here to do this after I piece it all together. I will sew this piece in and then dart it. I finished following the pattern and this is what I came up with. One side a little wonky and the other side is good, so I'll use the good side as my pattern. I chose this fabric so I can make another dress but also use it as a pattern, so super useful. There is a bit of excess fabric. Remember what I said, we want extra because we can always cut it off instead of having too little. Make sure to cut leaving enough seam allowance so when you sew it back again, there's enough room for sewing. So I cut off the extra and then I can seam rip all the pieces apart because this will become the pattern for the pieces of my actual fabric. I just laid it on top of my fabric that I want and cut it all out. You have to kind of piece it together like a puzzle because the layout that they give you will no longer apply after you've made the pieces bigger. Make sure the pattern is facing the right way if it matters for your fabric. No upside down Nancy Drews here. And don't worry about all this extra. I want to make a dress for my daughter too. I'm going to use this fabric as the collar and sleeve cuffs. Should I have ironed it? Yes. Will I? Not right now. A more professional sewist will be more meticulous, but this is me doing me and it works. And here I sew with a shorter stitch. The shorter stitch ensures that this will not fall apart on me. And here's most of it. I shortened it a little bit. All I need to do is add the buttons, the collar, and the finishing touches. The pattern that was meant for 3 sizes too small is now fitting. Woo!